Should you clam up to supersize your business? Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, and our idiom today is clam up. Like the clams, when they're faced with a predator or something, they will shut really tightly their shell and they'll hide in their little clam shell and they will not open up. And if you've ever tried to open a clam shell, looking for pearls, they're super duper hard to open. And this idiom was applied to people that won't talk, that refuse to talk, that remain silent no matter what. I think of it in legal shows and when the lawyers or the police are questioning a suspect or a witness and they won't say anything. They just clam up. Kind of like political discussions. They just clam up. Unless they have a platform, of course, and they want to spew out their political ideas and platform. Then they don't clam up and you can't get them to shut up. Not unlike me sometimes. So clam up. What is keeping silent? What is keeping secret have to do with growing and building our businesses? Well, there's some things we want to clam up about. And so that's why I said, should you clam up about certain things? I consider, and a lot of times contractually in the business world, we are obligated to keep certain types of information secret, proprietary secrets, proprietary processes, patented information. Although the patents are available, they're protected by law. And there's certain things that you can't do. You can't infringe other people's patent rights. You cannot break people's contracts. You cannot share trade secrets. In corporate America, I believe I had a confidentiality agreement in every corporation I ever worked for. It was just standard operating procedure to protect the company's way of doing things, their secrets, to, give them a competitive edge. At least that's the thinking. So revealing secrets, sharing secrets, sometimes we contractually and legally are obligated to clam up and not share that information. I like to think also in our businesses, we're the leader of our business and we have some sort of leadership role. Even if we hire people to help us, we're still a leader and a visionary for our organization, for the companies that we're creating. And in order to help them grow, I say a lot of times we're better off clamming up because we have two ears and one mouth for a reason. When we're listening, that's when we're learning everything we need to know. Number one, about what's going on in our company. Number two, what our customers need. Number three, what we need to do next and how we can put all the pieces together. When we're talking and sharing information, we're not learning anything new. But when we're listening is when we're learning. So I found in meetings, especially with my department heads in corporate America, if I would just zip my lips the majority of the time, which is kind of hard for me sometimes, gotta admit, I would learn so much more and then we'd know what to do. We as a group would collectively, if we would clearly listen to one another, the collective knowledge and wisdom in the room was always more than we needed to solve any problem that we were faced with. So sometimes as a leader, we want to clam up and remember not only to listen, but also to let other people learn and grow and try new things and develop. And that's part of our job, is developing other leaders in our organization so that we aren't the only one that can make the decision. Heaven forbid, should something happen to you or you have a health challenge, and they're done that, where you need to know that you've got people that can step in and keep things running smoothly, even though you're on a respirator. With COVID-19, that's a bigger possibility, maybe not as much as people say, but it's a bigger possibility for those of us with health challenges, and we need to take that into consideration. This idiom actually has been around since the 1900s. Early 1900s is when it was first seen in print, although there's some speculation that was in a version of the Geneva Bible. I don't even know what that is, in 1560 or something, somewhere in the late 1500s. So it could have been around much longer than that, but it's been used a long time, but it wasn't necessarily written down, or there isn't a record or any tracing of it. And I Googled it extensively to try to find out where it came from, because I like to know where things come from. Have I used clam up, that expression? Absolutely positively. Have I clammed up? Absolutely positively. There's situations I've been in where I have been required by law to clam up. There are times when I choose to clam up. And the last area I want to address about should you clam up is in the area of I'm going to say politics and religion are the two subjects that I learned through a lot of trial and error and personal experience that I don't allow to be bantered about, talked about, joked about, or anything. And I ran a food business, so on the operating floor, on the manufacturing floor, we didn't talk about those things. Why? Number one, someone always got their feelings hurt. Somebody was always upset whenever there was a discussion that was surrounded those two topics, because politics and religion are things and beliefs that we hold so dearly. Core values often tie into politics and religion, that we're not going to change someone else's mind by having a discussion about it. We're not going to change somebody's beliefs of 20 years by having a social media talk about it. We're not going to change anyone's mind about certain things, especially when there's so much misinformation out there. It is everyone's right and responsibility to think for themselves. It is not our job to think for them. It is not as business owners, it is not our business to manipulate, because if we're using our position, it's manipulation to share our beliefs about politics or religion. I contend that is unethical and wrong. People are welcome to argue with me, but I think it's unethical and wrong, because you're using your position power to influence people or to manipulate people to do something or think the way that you do. And that is an abuse of power. You know, just like sexual harassment and anything else, political harassment or religious harassment, not okay. At least not okay in my book. So could you, should you, would you clam up about certain things? It's always up to you. It's your business. But know that if you take a stand on something as controversial as religion or politics, or there's all kinds of topics we could go into, you are opening yourself up to, number one, liability, legal issues and challenges, and alienating at least half the population on any given topic, if not more. So keep in mind, should you do that? Should you talk about those things? Always up to you. We live in a free country, thankfully. It's up to you. But be aware that if you do that, you will, like any other choices and decisions you make for your organization, end up having to live with the consequences of that and the fallout of that. And unfortunately, in this day and age of social media and misinformation, one piece of misinformation attributed to you or your company could have dire consequences. Just a warning. All right, clam up. Love to know your experience with this particular idiom. Like I said, I could probably go back in my memory banks and find hundreds of examples of me or somebody else clamming up. I remember we had an illegal worker situation at one of the companies I worked for, and that was a huge situation of people clamming up, and getting information was very challenging. All right, have an awesome day. I will be with you tomorrow with another interesting idiom. What does it mean? Where does it come from? And how might you use it to grow your business today?